Hey guys, my name is Matsumiyo, and today Ubisoft did something that was a bit unexpected in Rainbow Six Siege. Ever since this game has come out, one thing that Ubisoft has always been struggling with is to try to stop the toxicity issue, getting players to actually be decent to each other, and for the most part, I think they've done an okay job at this. Now obviously it's not perfect, but the reverse friendly fire I think has been a huge step in the right direction. They've added in more UI components so that you can actually report people for doing specific things. They've taken a lot of steps over the years to try to stop these kinds of behaviors, and they've been somewhat successful. But what caught me by surprise is that the other day they announced that they were going to be removing the all chat, at least on PC, from the game entirely. So you literally will not be able to talk to the other team. You will still obviously be able to talk to your teammates and make callouts and stuff like that, but there isn't going to be that interaction with the other side. Their reason for doing so is that their data consistently showed a high percentage of players were getting reported because of this cross-chat functionality. And honestly, it kind of makes sense. A lot of the times when you're in a game, the other team will start to trash talk. I mean, it's kind of a thing in multiplayer video games. They try to get in your head or they escalate it and it gets to the point where it truly is a very toxic environment. And so instead of trying to solve that with some other means, they were just going to remove that functionality from the game entirely. Now, some of you probably know where this is going because the community was not on board with this change whatsoever. A lot of people expressed their concerns about it because yes, this can be used as a tool for being toxic. A lot of times, this is what makes a multiplayer video game a multiplayer. Being able to talk to other people is how you form communities. If you just completely remove that entirely, it becomes a more detached experience. If I went to go play basketball with some friends, if I literally was not able to talk to the other team whatsoever, I don't know about you guys, but that would lessen that enjoyment. That's kind of the same sentiment that a lot of people brought up and one of the reasons why people really were not on board with this idea. Now, I do understand where Ubisoft is coming from on this. This is not a functionality that is required whatsoever for your team to win. You do not need to talk to the other side to be able to win your games, and if it truly is being used just as a vehicle for people to be awful, then why not remove it from the game? But I feel like there would be better ways of going about it. And thankfully, Ubisoft, I guess, kind of agrees with us. Shortly after they made the announcement that they were going to be trying these changes on the technical test servers, only a few hours later, based off of the community's feedback, they came back and stated that this clearly is not what the community wants and that they were not going to be going through with it. They did state that they were going to be looking into it further, maybe adding down the line an ability for you to just flat out mute the other team. Right now, you only have the ability on PC to turn chat on or off, which is kind of obnoxious because a lot of times I would like to be able to chat with my own team, but also not listen to the other side. I realize that there is the ability to just go down the line and just mute the other team in the UI. Like that is already in the game already, but it'd be nice if I didn't have to do that every single time. And so if that is something that they are considering, I think that that would be a great addition. What's awesome about this though, is it only took a short couple of hours for our feedback to be heard by Ubisoft for them to realize, okay, yeah, this is something that the community does not want, and then not go through with it. Some people could twist this and state that they didn't think long and hard enough about this, but sometimes you just have to get the feedback of the community, and there's really only one way of going about that, and that is trying these changes on the technical test servers. This is actually something that I want to see Ubisoft do more and more on the TTS. Currently, the test servers really just feel like a place for them to make sure that patches are stable before they go live. Maybe making some small adjustments here and there, but by and large, when new operators come out, we don't see them changed whatsoever until they're out for everyone to play on, and then it can take a couple of months or even years before we see any changes. And so why not make some dramatic updates to some of the operators? Give Tachanka access to an ACOG. It may not work, maybe, I don't think it would make him too strong, but you kind of get where I'm coming from. Try more of these outlandish ideas, have a place where people can actually test attempt it and then allow them to give that feedback. I realize that that might come with its own problems because it could set expectations a bit too high if they make a change to an operator that someone really enjoys and then later they revert that change. That could upset some of the player base that were expecting or really excited about that upcoming update, but you kind of get where I'm coming from. Allow players to actually give their feedback on some larger changes like what we just did today. I think that'd be an amazing thing for the game. Now, if Ubisoft does want to stop the toxicity in Siege and they really want to take some further steps, one thing that I would love them to do is take notes from other video games that have had at least somewhat success with this. To my understanding, in Overwatch, you have the ability as a player to sort of mute or time out a player either on your team or on the other team. So if you do not want to go against someone because they're being toxic, or let's say your teammate really isn't all that pleasant, you can essentially for 24 hours just not go against them or play with them. Now, I imagine that this wouldn't be easy for them to implement a system like this. They'd have to change up the matchmaking, but for me personally, I would love having this tool at my disposal. There's a lot of times where either I'm going against a team or there's a random that I'm constantly getting queued with who just isn't pleasant to be around. And so if I had the ability to not play with them for a couple of hours, that would greatly enhance my experience. That could be one way they go about it. It may not be a perfect solution, like don't get me wrong, it still has its own issues. Instead of not going against people that are being toxic, you use it to not go against certain individuals because they're just better and you don't want to lose against them over and over. I get that there would be some things that they would need to work on, but hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. All in all, though, I thought it was really cool that Ubisoft listened to the community in such a timely manner. Usually it can take weeks or months for something to be recognized by the community, and to have something like this be put on the technical test servers and then only a couple hours later be removed, I thought was a really cool communication on their parts. Yeah, guys, that is what it for today's short little update video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Is there some way that you think that Ubisoft could tackle these issues one way or the other? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. But yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.